Hey guys, it's Aijalonwallace. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about the cost of living in Brazil. I've been here for the last 4 months. Just want to talk to you guys pretty much basically about a few prices and a few things. But starting off with housing. So roughly you can get Airbnbs as, cheap as 23 to 24 to $30 a month. You can get some decent and affordable ones. There are Airbnbs in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70 range, but it is pretty affordable. I usually try to stay around a 24, 26, usually around a $600 budget a month. It just depends on your situation. Like if you're going to be at home, you may want to spend a little bit more money to get a location that has a desk and everything else. And it also depending on where you're going to be living. So I lived in Rio de Janeiro for like 3 months, and now I'm here in Sao Paulo. Both cities, in all honesty, are the most expensive compared to the smaller cities in Brazil. But I guess it still can be affordable depending on where you live and depending on the locations as well. When I go to the store, I usually spend no more than 150 or 200 bucks, but I usually go to, they do have like upshalot stores, like organic stores, compared to the stores that are for that are the grocery supermarkets that are in like the poor communities. But I still get a lot of stuff reasonably for $150, $200. It is cheaper as well to cook at home, as you guys know, versus always going out to eat. But being that Brazil is so cheap, it may not break your pocket because the dollar is so strong. So with Airbnb houses, you can, like I said, once again, you can get some decent ones for $23, $24 a night, which is really good. Sometimes as well, to save money, you can always tell your Airbnb host after a couple of weeks, you can try to pay them outside of Airbnb to make it a little bit more affordable. A lot of people will accept cash depending on the situation as well, but sometimes as well, paying a couple extra dollars is worth it for peace of mind. I often try to make sure that most buildings I stay in have security. That gives me peace of mind having a 24-hour security guard at my apartment. So let's talk about going out to eat, restaurants, and food. Food is pretty affordable for the most part. There are a lot of local shops and stands where you can just go out and get like a quick little sandwich for $2 or $4 on your lunchtime. But if you want to go to a nice restaurant, you may spend around 10, 20, and I'm talking about for like rice and shrimp, maybe salmon, even steak. You can find yourself spending, no more than $20 or $30, which is really good if you want to eat well, live well. But also it's great if you're like going out with some friends or on a date. It's affordable as well because it's not gonna hit the pockets as hard. You can always find a lot of nice restaurants and even some good ones depending on the locations you're going to. Just always remember, the more touristy that area is, the more expensive most likely the restaurants are gonna be. So if you go to a restaurant where there's not a lot of tourists, like, I lived in Flamingo when I was in Rio, and like the central area, just depending on where you're at, Kaiti or Kayate. I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but it's next door to like Lapa. But there are a lot of areas where you can go in Rio where it is quite affordable. Same here for Sao Paulo, but lately I've just been going to the grocery store to save money for the most part. When it comes to like activities and things to do, there are a lot of free museums that you can go to. It's not that expensive. The cinemas are, depending on what you like. I'm a big movie guy, so they have like the D box, so the chairs that move and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think, honestly, the cinema is only like, for the regular stuff, I think it's roughly $8 or $10, so it's not that much. They don't have as many snacks how we have it in America. Like usually we have like 50 or 100 different snacks and stuff. It's nothing like that at the cinemas here as well. There are, of course, you have a lot of touristy, things that you can go to where people show you around the city. But for the most part, you don't break an arm. It's a lot of affordable things to do, even free things to do here. There are a lot of meetups as well. We have a lot of Facebook groups, so that's good in a sense as well. When it comes to, you know, how much you roughly need a month to sustain or, you know, to have a good time here, in all honesty, I would say anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a month, you can live a pretty decent life here in Brazil, and that's the US dollar. So you times that. Right now the dollar is like almost 1 to 6, but we could just times that. You know, let's just say you have 6,000 reals. Well, think about it this way: the average person in Brazil makes about 1,000 reals a month. That's only $200. So most of the prices, like local prices, are centered around the average people's salaries here in Brazil. So if you're able to bring in at least $800 or $1,000 a month, you can still have a decent life if you're not that, you know, very upshalon, not that picky. For the most part as well, there are Airbnbs that are $10 and $11. Like I've seen some. I tried one before and I did not like it. I canceled it the next day. But if you're not a picky person, like I said, depending on your situation, when you come over here and travel, you're not going to be at the house all day. So it doesn't make sense sometimes having these $50, $60 a night, you know, Airbnbs if you're not going to be at home. You know, get something cheap where you could go to sleep, and then once you wake up, you can go out, you know. And it's pretty, and like I said, you really don't have to buy groceries. It's pretty affordable to eat out every day. On average, I'm spending, you know, roughly sometimes, you know, in the morning for breakfast, I spend roughly $4 to $5. If I'm feeling a little like, if I want to really stunt, I may get a juice and it may be like $6. So, but I mean, like literally I'm getting like eggs, bacon, juice, you know, compared to like one cup at Starbucks, you know, would cost me like $10, $12 compared to, you know, you're getting a full breakfast meal and a fresh squeezed juice here. It's definitely affordable. Clothes are pretty cheap as well, depending on where you go. You know, I'm seeing prices like shirts and stuff like that, maybe around 50 reals, which may be only like $10 for me. You know, so it just depends on, you know, where you go at the end of the day. I have bought some new clothes since moving to Sao Paulo because the dressing style is different. In Rio, of course, I always say this, but it's more like Miami, so people are dressed in beach clothes, flip-flops, and swimming trunks. Compared to here, they're more business cash. It's just like the business capital of South America here. So a lot of people, you know, dress really nice here at the end of the day. So, you know, you just want to adapt sometimes to the culture. Ubers are no more, like I've never spent no more than you know, $2-3 on an Uber, unless I'm like, you know, going somewhere really far out, and that may be like $8, you know. So Uber rides are extremely cheap. The subway is cheap and the buses are cheap. I'm a little picky, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably cheaper to take the bus, and it's definitely cheaper to take the subway. But, you know, with COVID and everything going on, I'm not doing public transportation right now. So I'm just taking an Uber. I'm taking an Uber everywhere. I'm not risking it. It's just not worth it, you know, to be on that bus with hundreds of people and on a subway. But it is cheap. It is super affordable. I think it's only like maybe 1 or 2 reals or something like that to take the subways or take the buses. It's really affordable. It's really cheap. And it's another way for you to save money here as well. But if you got a steady income coming in and you're thinking about moving here and you don't have that much money, you can like really you can make it. If you really like, you want, like, even if you were on $500, $700 a month, you still can get by. You still can get by pretty well, as long as you're not as picky. Like I said, I've seen the Airbnbs out here that are like $10 a night. So you definitely can find some Airbnbs that are like only like $200 a month. And, you know, like I said, in those areas, groceries are really cheap. Fruit is in the 50 cents or 60 cents range. A lot of things can be affordable as long as you're not as picky at the end of the day. going from there. I get manicures and pedicures. My manis and pedis, I usually get them every week. Like I spoil myself a lot, but manicures and pedicures are roughly $20 for me. But I know a lot of my homegirls get it done for $10 as well. So I guess it just depends on where you go. I go to a little bitty uppity place inside of a mall, so it costs me like 100 reals. 100 reals is roughly like $20, when you calculate it. And then it's probably less than that, to be honest. And then my haircuts cost me like, $90. But if I go to a favela, like to a much more poor community, I can get my haircut done for like $4 or $3 if I want to, really. Also seeing chiropractor here as well. Chiropractors here cost me about $35 a month. It's extremely cheap. It's extremely affordable if you're coming here using dollars or pounds or whatever currency you're going to be using. There's a lot of opportunities to it's also opportunities to make money. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a digital nomad, there's a lot of opportunities to make money here, or like I said, just still work from here and get paid in dollars. I think that's the smartest way to go, if you're thinking about coming over. But clothes are really affordable, food is affordable, going out hanging with friends, dating, like you never have to feel like you're breaking your bank when you go out here as well, because a lot of things are just and the more friends you make, they're gonna look out for you and take you to a lot of locations with good prices as well. Like even alcohol and beer, I personally feel it's really cheap and affordable depending on where you go. There are happy hours here at the end of the day, but it can be really affordable at the end of the day. So you guys got any questions, let me know. Just wanted to make a quick video to talk to you about a few things that I've been paying for that I just found reasonably cheap. Like I said, I don't really have no complaints about prices here. A lot of things are affordable. It just depends on your locations and what you like and how picky you are at the end of the day. But Brazil is a very affordable country. It's not a bad place to move right now with everything going on. If you guys love the content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Can't wait to talk to you soon, all right?